We're in February, also known as Black History Month, but I got to ask some of you out there, how's your New Year's resolutions going? Right? You still hanging in there? I hope so. And I'll tell you something when it comes to change and being uncomfortable. What was uncomfortable for me this weekend was watching the NBA All-Star. Matter of fact, or challenge, game, competition, I don't know what you call it. And I got to ask you guys, did you even know that the NBA All-Star, did you know that this past weekend was the NBA All-Star weekend? Because guess what? I just so happened to be scrolling and accidentally found out that this weekend was the NBA All-Star weekend. Now, I will say this, my Hawks, they're competing. Are they where I want them to be? No. But I'm at least glad that they are fighting. So for that, I can still be a fan. But as you guys know, numbers have been going down tremendously simply because the mid-range game and the paint game is gone. It's now all about snagging from the big arch. And let me just explain to you what I witnessed during the All-Star weekend. If I had to give it a grade, it would be a very low one. But I commend Draymond Green.
Candace goes, I'm coaching some team. And she's right. Some team that no one wants to see.
Oh, man.
I had to work so hard to play on Sunday night of All-Star Weekend. And because ratings are down, because the game's bad, we're bringing in rising stars. That's not a fix.
Draymond Green told it like it T.I. is. And I have to agree with him. And one thing we know about Draymond Green, he's honest on the court, he's honest off the court, right? If he disagrees with a call or if he disagrees with something, he's going to let you know. He's going to SOB. He's going to stand on business regardless of what it is. But I'll be honest with you, I was not entertained from this NBA All-Star weekend. Now, for some of you millennials and your Gen Zers, right, some of you young bucks out there, you guys may have found it interesting. And for you old heads, let me bring the division and let me just bridge the gap, if you don't mind. So for us, it was Dr. J. Right? It was Julius Erving. It was Clyde the Glide. It was MJ. It was Dominique. Right? It was Kenny Skywalker. It was a lot of these cats that wooed us in the All-Star weekend. And it was blood, sweat, and tears on the court. I mean, it was competition out on the court. I mean, they got busy out on the court. And to Draymond Green's point, you work all season to be called an all-star, and then you become the people's choice. And for you to get out there and play with guys who haven't earned the right to be out on the court, I actually feel you and hand salute Draymond for speaking your truth. And I think the world would agree with you. But here's the most intricate part if I had to bridge this gap. It's almost as if, and I could be wrong, but it's almost as if the three-point contest was more significant than the slam dunk contest. I mean, say it ain't so. White man can jump. The boy Mac actually won the slam dunk contest. And I'll be honest with you, it was quite entertaining, to see him compete. To me, there was not any known NBA stars out there. I mean, we know them as perimeter players, but for a slam dunk contest, I mean, where was your Ja Morant? I mean, we saw that y'all showed up post NBA All-Star weekend saying next year I may have to get in it. LeBron said the same thing. And the Kevin Hart thing with Shaq, them going back and forth, I was here for that. I was all here for the sauce on that. Pause. But I'll be honest with you, it was quite annoying to know that we had to go to comedy to overcompensate the entertainment portion of what All-Star Weekend was about. Shout out to Steph. As I understand, Steph was part of the creative juices behind the All-Star Weekend, but it was less entertaining than I would have thought or even prepared for. I'll say it again for the cheap seats. I didn't even know it was All-Star Weekend. There just wasn't any hype about it. But for my young bucks and my old heads, let me bridge the gap. The three-point game is now the competition over the slam dunk contest. Now, if you really want to go see some dope dunks, you can probably go back to D. Brown with the Boston Celtics, even back to that era. But as we know, half man, half amazing was the GOAT when it came to slam dunk contests. I'm not dismissing Michael Jordan. He's the heir up there. But I will say that when it came to sustaining the slam dunk contest, Vince Carter, it's over. If you know, you do know. In the same breath of NBA All-Star Weekend, Ant-Man, what's going on? And I'm talking about AE, the Jordan-esque player, as we all know him as, for Minnesota, right? So I don't have a female here. I could point fingers, and you know who you are, but I don't have a female here to get a dialogue going on from a female's perspective, because what I'm about to say does require a female's perspective. But he obviously has a situation with someone, but he got into another situation, or friends with benefits, or let's just call it like a TI is. He slept with a girl, he was unstrapped, and she's expecting. And Ant-Man is saying flat out, straight up, she ain't the one I want to rock with. Let me know how much it costs. I don't want to be in the picture. Goodbye. Little context behind that is this is the baby's or little baby's mother of his child. If I'm not mistaken, I could have it all twisted. You know, I'm the old fart sitting here talking, but it's what say you guys? Do you commend someone who says, oops, I don't want it? Or do you commend someone that goes, vamoose, they just vanish? Or that's someone that tells you straight up, just let me know how much it costs and I'm out of here. Listen, I don't have a female here to debate this topic, nor do I have a female here to get into a dialogue. I foresee it in the future because I already know who would be the best co-chair to sit in this seat to have this conversation, but that's another topic for another day. But Ant-Man, they are, for lack of a better word, preparing you to be the face of the NBA, right? Why that is, I don't know. Sometimes I'm not behind the marketing wheels or wall to even understand how they see things this way. But I will say this, my man, you can ball. John Morant was supposed to be the face of the NBA, but you remember the brandishing the gun and all of that? I digress, but you guys know what it is. But the NBA All-Star Weekend I wasn't impressed at all. Let me tell you what else I wasn't impressed with. Say Drake. Drake dropped the album recently. And again, didn't hear a lot of hype about it. I didn't hear the streets going crazy about it. And I listened to some of the record, and I'll be honest with you, this kind of goes into Drake's Hotline Blink era of record creation, where he's becoming more the R&B dude, right? But I'll be honest, there was a couple of bops on there, but I don't know. It's so hard to judge, being that K-Dot, Kung Fu Kenny, is just coming off of a run and then just put his own crown on. Then to hear Drake with an album drop or a new release, I just wasn't so into it. But Drake, you hang in there. I can tell that you're getting in your creative artist bag, and that's to be commended. Another thing, to be commended is the fact that you didn't just lay down, right? That you understand that this is a creative thing that you are not willing to give up. So for that, salute. We're in the age of cancel culture, judged by the court of public opinion. And I'll be careful with my words, but just in case I drop a noun, an adjective, a pronoun, or even an expletive, please don't hold me to it. You guys know what it is. I'm just here to pod. I'm Dante, also known as Mecca Don, the Don Mecca. Some call me coach, some call me ref. If you know, you know. Some may even call me Rick James. Why? Because I'm cold-blooded. And I want to be as cold-blooded as I possibly can today. This ain't going to be one of them hot pods. This is going to be a direct and to the point pod. I'm just being honest with you. But I will look right at you. I'm going to even point my finger. And as one of my late friends would say, raise my big arm and say, if you are not involved in civics, more specifically, not Pacific. Speaking of Pacific, which is a body of water. When was the last time you guys went on Google? I'll wait. Go on and pull it up. Just Google U.S. maps. And then I want you to zoom out. And then I want you to go south and look at that body of water. You see it now. Yeah, so this thing is really happening. So in the scope of what I'm saying, get in order. Get involved in your local civics so you can understand what's really going on. There's no more of that, I'm just going to wait. My vote doesn't count. What does it matter if I get involved in local elections or not? The key is to start local and then expand from there, because right now, the way it's looking is that all shares lead to the road and tree of our current POTUS, President of the United States. Your constitutional rights are at stake, folks. But y'all thought Project 25 was a myth or urban myth, or you guys thought it was a joke. So maybe some of you are asking, okay, well, Don, talk to me. Where do I start? I'm not really into this politic thing, but looking at the climate and weight of the world right now, I see that I need to be doing my part. Okay. There's this search engine called Google. I would say start there. But other than that, get involved and talk to people who can get you connected with your local officials. Start with your congressman, start with your congresswoman. You know, I can even say shout out to Hank Johnson. I saw him this Sunday. You know, you got David Scott, who's close to my precinct and district of representatives. And then you got Lucy McBath, just to name a few. And then you can even go to your senators, right? John Ossoff, which is the senior, right? Which is the senior senator. And then you can go to Reverend Raphael Warnock, who's the junior senator, right? And these are just Georgia-based, but I'm asking you, do you know these things right off the top of your head so you can know where to start? And I'll be honest with you, when you show these individuals that you are interested, oh my goodness, they'll pull you in. They'll pull you in projects, and you will start to understand the value of you when it comes to local elections. And let me just say this, as for me, right? I never want to sway you as to who to vote for. But one thing that I will say when it comes to me, and maybe some of you don't know how to adapt a model to follow, but just try to take this from a simplistic standpoint, if you will. Okay, I'm not trying to offend anybody. So if I'm speaking at someone, pardon me. I don't mean to speak over you. I don't mean to be too low at this, what I'm about to say. Find out, regardless if they're Dem or Rep, find out, do they have a model or a plan or a suggestion or some type of black and white that states things that you have a concern about? See if it aligns with your ideology and see if you can meet where they are. Because I'll be honest with you, no matter what you claim, right? When you go to the voting precinct, you're going to be asked, are you this or are you that? And you can even ask for a special voting card so that you can select this person, which is something that aligns with you. And then you can vote for this person, which may align with your overall principles of whatever category you want to put yourself in, right? Does this person align? Now, for me, if it doesn't align and it's disrespectful, divisive, and I can go on and on and on, I may need to look at the other side. Right? And if the other side has principles or at least a plan or a proposal that aligns with me or the future of the state of our country, our nation, our integrity, our constitution, then I may have to abide and say, hey, this aligns with some of my ideology as to where I'm going. But my overall point is, hey, guys, you have to start local. Because I'll be honest with you, pardon me, this can't be real, what we're witnessing. And some of you, some of us know someone, or you're witnessing it in real time as to how it's affecting others. Let me get into it. So instead of asking Congress to pass a law or to change a law, the President of the United States asked the national budget cuts to be managed by the co-president. Wait, that probably went over your head. So let me say it again. The President of the United States asked that the national budget cuts be managed by an individual. Who is that individual? A non-people appointed bureaucrat. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say what it is because it's getting sticky and it's looking cray. But understand that our current POTUS was a reality star of a show called The Apprentice. And one of his catchphrases on his show to eliminate an individual that they saw coming was, "You're fired." Looks a lot like today, huh? So I have to ask again, and then this ain't so much conspiracy theory as it is this true? Is old Don Teasy really being used? Is he really being used to be is he being puppeted by a different hierarchy outside of our Constitution? Well, it shows. Listen, when you bring, it irritated me so bad, right? I told you guys I'm here for the pomp and circumstance of when it comes to nation ceremonies, if you will. For example, the laying of rest of former President Jimmy Carter. The pomp and circumstance there. It was intriguing, heartwarming. I loved it, right? Then you had the pomp and circumstance of the inauguration to include the honor guard, the old guard, the Navy guard, the old Navy guard, 8th and I Marine, right? I don't know much about Space Force, but they were included and they blended right in. So I have no comment or critique on that. They were sharp. But one thing that I have to honestly say is I'm watching and I'm not seeing the decorum of the Oval Office. When I saw that the co-president was in the Oval Office as the current President of the United States, I can't make this up, was sitting down at his desk as if this is my seat, this is my desk, I'm not going to give it up for anything. Listen, you had two dodos to come to the Oval Office in your first term. You brought Kanye and said he was a good man. Maybe because he wore the red cap in the Oval Office. But look at his attire, look at his demeanor as to how he went to go greet the president. Now, the last time you saw a championship team go to the White House, how were they dressed? But these are people you're partnering with to align for votes or to align with your dictatorship. Did you see how Elon Musk was standing in the office? He brought his child. To me, everybody, even President Trump said he's a good young man. He has a high IQ. This dude was running all around the Oval Office as if he was at Walmart with his dad waiting to get his taxes done. And the attire that Elon Musk had standing next to the president of the United States while cameras were rolling, it was just, to me, a sign of, I'm going to throw this in your face. So not only us as everyday working humans and Americans, the rich are continuing to throw it in our face as, I know what I'm doing. What are you going to do to stop it? You did it on TV right next to the POTUS. Oh my gosh. When I talk about pomp and circumstance, I'm like, yeah, yo, that was out of pocket. And then the kid running around the joint. I don't care what you guys do off of camera, but if you want us to see the highest office in the land, you're showing me this? I digress. But I'm talking about how Trump, his role on The Apprentice, is now playing out in real time with our nation. Elon Musk is racing through the government cutting jobs with his newly created organization called DOGE, which stands for the Department of Government Efficiency. DOGE. Or Doge. Doge recently gained access to the Department of Treasury. Guys, I don't know if I'm speaking too slow, too fast, or if I'm confusing individuals. But let me just let you know the effects of what just happened with him having access to the Department of Treasury. There was one person who worked there for moons who tried to stop this because they saw it as a flight risk. That person who tried to stop it, was put on leave. They told the individual, we're putting you on leave. And Elon Musk responded to him taking property of the Department of Treasury and access to some of the things was the people, and I quote, the people voted for a major government reform, and there should be no doubt about what was asked, end quote. So I guess he feels the urge to go in the department. What'd you say? You telling me what he got, right? No, what is it that serious? Well, wait, he has access to our Social Security numbers. You said what? Our previous tax filings? All of our tax filings. Oh, he know how much we make annually at our jobs. I'm starting to feel naked. Say more. He knows our hourly wage. He knows our property. He knows about our property. All of that. Listen, this is the same dude that went after USAID. Basically, what I'm saying in all seriousness, outside of trying to be a comedian, which I'm not, this guy has the ability to flatten our wages, our ability to obtain employment, our ability to sustain a wage, our ability to get a COLA, a cost of living allowance, being that inflation is going up, and our wages are not changing. As a matter of fact, they're getting cut. I just told you guys that they put someone on leave. And let me explain to you how that went. With or without pay, they just showed up and said, hey, yo, don't care how long you've been here. Get that box over there. You got 30 to 40 minutes to pack up your stuff and go. But wait a minute, guys. As I pack my stuff up, what did I do wrong? Hey, we're Doge. Get your stuff. Get up out of here. Guys, I don't think you understand who you got 20 minutes now. That's how they're moving. And I'll be honest with you. I thank God for the ability to have this platform, even though it's probably being monitored, it's probably being watched. Hey guys, we got to go back to the days of when we had megaphones and we were actually championing for change. We got to be about that. I said it before in a previous pod. We can't have Representative Jasmine Crockett out here frontlining by herself. But while I'm speaking about her, salute to Representative Jasmine Crockett. I mean, guys, she's out here frontlining.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And just in case I go over, I just wanted to note that the previous speaker went over by a minute. We've heard a lot about the fact that Democrats have been talking about Elon Musk. And let me give you a news alert. We're not going to stop talking about him. We're going to keep talking about him until he is out of here. Now, if he wants to be elected or appointed and confirmed to something, then so be it. But as of right now, we have somebody that for whatever reason, I don't know if y'all just trying to play in our face because you think we're stupid, or if you literally just cannot see the difference in a George Soros and a Bill Gates. But let me give you a little bit of the difference. Number one, George Soros nor Bill Gates ever somehow decided to turn off the spigot of money that was going through to various organizations and agencies to the extent that it had actually been ordered by law that they should have access to it, to the extent that people are dying.
Man, I wonder, was Marjorie Taylor Greene there? Oh, I'm sure she, huh? Oh, you, come on now, it's old stuff. Why are you bringing up old stuff? Hold on, guys, I'm just having a sidebar here. Oh, you want me to run it back? Well, let's run it back then.
Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about AG.
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about, I guess
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up what you're
ain't
reading.
nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order.
I do have a point of order, and I would like to move to take down Ms. Green's words.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling, if someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's a
I'm
parliament.
trying to find clarification on what
Chairman,
I didn't.
motion to
I
strike
had no
those
idea
words.
what you just said.
We're not gonna do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just
You just voted to do
Y'all did
it.
it first, so you don't want to talk about
voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Look it, calm down.
No, because this
I
is
would
what
like
y'all
to get
do.
through proceedings.
So I'm trying to
Hey,
get
Miss
clarification.
Crockett, you're not
Y'all wanna
recognized.
play
Miss
games,
I can't hear
Crockett.
you with your
and
yelling.
You don't want
Calm
me to
down.
Be,
Can you please calm down?
Don't tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all
Please
talk
calm
noise
down.
and then you
You're
can't
out of
take
control.
Because if I
Look,
come,
Chairman,
if I
can
come
we
and
send
talk
take a
about
break
her,
for 5
y'all
minutes?
gonna have a problem.
Mr.
Order.
Chairman.
All right,
Sorry.
Chair.
I don't know why
Okay.
you're
Order.
acting
Chair
like
now
that.
recognizes.
Not
Man, they've been beefing. Man, hold on. Wait a minute, hold on. JR. Jamie Raskin, I saw you. No. Run it back. Watch JR.
Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's
Hold
a
on.
I'm
parliament.
trying to find clarification on what quality.
Chairman,
I didn't.
motion to
I had
strike
no
those
idea
words.
what you just said.
We're not.
Look, I told you. He couldn't hold it. You couldn't hold it, could you? I had to run it back. And I see you, JR, Harvard grad. Supposed to be all about decorum. Listen, and your man next to you was like, I don't understand what was said. Hey, that's when you know how to read and not say anything because you don't want to get in the middle of it. But JR, you saw the smoke in the room. You saw them two going back and forth. But shout out to you, JR. You gave it all of entertainment. But back to Doge. Like, listen, if they went out after the Department of Treasury, they'll do just what they laid out in the Project 25 doc. It said, next up, guys, is the Department of Education. Already, Black history has been taken out of the schools, starting with Florida. Os Santos, right? They're putting the 10 Commandments in school as we speak. They're hanging it up as if that's the only religion or doctrine for kids to follow. All the thous, right? They even mention about going after the Department of Labor. So let me just pause here and say, for those of you who are out of work, this is no laughing matter. For those of you who's been applying, for those of you that are in the workforce or labor force, let me just pause here parenthetically and say the theme of this year, Black History, is the focus on labor and the workforce or the labor. There are people out there, and I've had an individual share with me, hey, yo, Don, I can't make this up, bro, but I filled out at least 100 applications online. You know, the days of going in the HR, seeing the wanted signs are over. So now it's basically a virtual HR. You go to careers on some page. And let me just say this. If you're in a group chat or you got a group text or group chat with some people and you are working, go to your career page. And I don't care if they qualify for the job or not. Just send them a link. Or if you see some openings, right? They could be entry level, managerial level, or above. It doesn't matter. Send it to your folks. Because there's some people out here going through it. They tanked after COVID and the stability was scarce. Budget cuts for the brick and mortars, and some people are just stuck in this wave of trying to catch up. And it has absolutely nothing to do with performance. Some jobs have just been trying to get out. And it's affected some of the people that we know. I don't want to get too much into it. But they did mention that they're going after the Department of Labor. Then after that, I heard they're going to try to take down and get the DOD, and that's the Department of Defense. Now it's getting sticky. And I hate to mention this because it's hanging on by a thread, and it's some people's livelihood. It's some people's way of life. It's kept a lot of people alive. It's kept a lot of people together for what it's worth. But the Veterans Affairs and the Veterans Administration, or the Veterans Administration or the Department of the VA. However you want to slice it, guys, you know what I'm talking about, right? That'll make you sit up straight. And this is a person who actually implemented or a dodging of the draft, right? So, and need I just call out this one, right? Which is scary for our seniors. But they're going after the Social Security Administration. You've worked all of your life. You've hit an age point where you know when it comes to ageism, you know you got to compete with these youngins. And half of them only want to go to work to get on their phone and get on the internet all day, where some of us really enjoy what we do. But you're competing against that, and you want to get you want to be considered high functional in this thing called America as a man or a woman or LGBTQAI plus. It's not looking good. But basically, folks, brace yourself and buckle up. And you heard it here first, or maybe you understand what I'm about to say. But we're heading towards a constitutional crises and collapse. This is the same guy who said he could do a third term. Now, I don't mean to keep going back to this Project 25, but it seems like in this aggression of 90 days in, not the reality show, but reality, that this dude is doing everything that was laid out in this Project 25. So I'm going to ask you guys again, did you vote? And if you did vote, did the administration that you voted for, does it align with your principles and your ideology and your goals? How is that going for you today? I want to know. Or were you just thinking Trump's good for the economy? Some of y'all were thinking stimmies. I can go cash the check. I'm about my bag. How's that working out for you? I'm just curious because I know a lot of people said that our current president would be good for the economy. But when you bring in a non-voted or appointed bureaucrat that's making all these cuts, we're talking about $1 billion. This is one of the richest men in the world who doesn't understand anything about scratching and surviving. But it's talking about making cuts that will affect everyday humans. I'm not talking about performance. I'm talking about real life go to work Squid Games. Red light. Green light. Red light. Pow. You're still moving. You know, it's almost a dictatorship as to what I say goes. Don't worry about that Constitution. I'm about to rewrite it. But people, you do have a voice. Just like you had a voice in making a choice to go or not to go to McDonald's, Walmart, and Target. And if you want to get an update, according to the NYSE market, Target is taking a hit for $10 billion based on what the people said. So if you think your voice or your actions don't matter, how about those apples? But one thing that I will say is that there are people that look like me, that are Black Americans, that are ride or dies for MAGA. I know some, I know a lot. But there are some out there. And if you want to know what it looks like to be Black in America and align with MAGA, let me show you.
All right, y'all, I'm sorry. Kendrick Lamar at the Super Bowl was whack. That was one of the worst halftime shows in recent memory. First of all, Kendrick Lamar is not mainstream. Like, people do not know those songs. The white people at the Super Bowl party that I was with, he may as well have been speaking Mandarin. All right, because nobody knew these songs. Nobody knew what he was rapping about outside of Not Like Us, obviously. But nobody knows these songs. Second of all, Blickety Black, I'm so much blacker than you. Halftime shows are very passe. Like, that stuff peaked in the BLM era. It's very not of this moment. moment, it very much does not work. And also, it's been done better. So at this point, nobody cares. Third of all, 43-year-old mother of two, Serena Williams, in a bad blonde wig, like crip walking, is embarrassing. Like, I'm embarrassed for her. And anybody's doing that Super Bowl, try to make a show that's for all of America, because that was not for all of America. That was for like a fringe that knows Kendrick Lamar and that knows, you know, his reps. Like, you're not going to tell me that that man is mainstream.
So my question is, when was America great? And what is it exactly that we're trying to do again with the greatness? So I ask you again, what period was America great? And what is it of that period that we're trying to get back to? Be specific. Say it with your chest. Let me point out a fact that I think a lot of people overlooked. Both presidents, candidates, Madam VP Kamala Harris, former President Donald J. Trump, were both on a ticket, one from the RNC, one from the DNC. And let me explain to you, each of them had somewhere around 40% of the vote, somewhere around there, 45, 47, 48 to 45. It was a close range, but they were somewhere around the mid 40 percentile. But you know what the higher percentage was? The people who didn't vote at all. My vote don't matter. Don't come at me with this politic, John. It doesn't matter. Don't put me in this. And your percentage was much higher than the 40% that I'm mentioning between Madam VP, former POTUS. And I'll close with this. If you are silent about your pain, if you're silent about your pain, when they kill you, they'll say you enjoyed it. We're in the age of cancel culture, judged by the court of public opinion. Today, I wanted to get straight to the point, no chaser. But just in case I use a noun, a pronoun, an adjective, or even an expletive that was out of pocket, please don't hold me to it. You guys know what it is. I'm just here to pod.